Hey, good evening, guys, and welcome back to the fish room. Actually, this isn't the fish room, this is my living room. The one tank that I have out here, I'm going to start with this tank. I'm going to call this series the 4 T's of October Tank to Tank Tour. How catchy is that? So, we're going to begin here. As, like I said, this tank gets the most action, the most breeding. There are tons of mystery snail babies growing in here, along with my lemon blue eye plecostomus. I'm going to go ahead and lift the lid up here. I'll probably need to stop the production of the mystery snails because I'm going to have literally hundreds and hundreds of them. I've been putting, let's see where you at. The clutch is right over here on this little platform of styrofoam, and they hatch out of there and then they make their way into the tank. And then after a while you have all these babies. Let's see if I got some of the back glass back over there. They're starting to get fairly good size. They're the ivory mystery snails. I'm pretty sure this is mom down here. There's lots of them, lots of plecos. So moving along, guys, we're going to go ahead and hit into my office to those tanks. That's my office tank room. But to give you a little bit of a view of these plecos, they're really something else. I got like 2 or 3 generations in here now. How do you like that pink gravel? Isn't that just beautiful? We've had this gravel. My wife picked it out for our red devil back when it was little, because she likes the way it kind of make the red devil look kind of like a salmon color when it reflected up on its belly. And the white you see, that's crushed coral. I put that in there to benefit the snails and also to stabilize the pH. So anyway, moving on to the office. See you in just a moment, guys. And here we are in my office. I'm going to start out with this 29-gallon tank. Oh, we got a rare sighting right here. The walking across that rock is one of my 4 Mexican orange dwarf crayfish. Got a breeding pair. I haven't seen any babies yet, but they said that it was a breeding pair. And then I got another one too, so I got 4 of those guys walking around here. Back there on that Indian almond leaf, if you can see that little darker pleco, that is one of the babies. I have some other babies on top of this wood here. If you can get up a little closer. Those are babies from a calico male that I had that I thought this would be with enough caves and enough cover and everything, but my male super red seemed to have they were getting along great, no problems, and then he was just tore up and he was dead. And this guy right here is a little bigger, and he's definitely the dominant, he's the only male in there now, let's put it that way. Actually, I take that back. I do have a small lemon blue eye male, but apparently he doesn't pose a... In fact, there he is back there eating the rapashi. He doesn't pose much of a threat to this guy right here. This guy produces pretty good. I'm sure I'm going to have some babies pretty soon from them. I got 2 females. Got a trio. Also have these black mollies in here that just gave birth. I'm not sure if we'll be able to see any of the fry up in the hornwort. Hornwort? I think is how you pronounce it. I'm new to plants, and this is my 2nd live plant. And this thing is like tripled in size since I got it, and I've only had it for, I don't know, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Thing grows quick. Well, there's another one of the crayfish down there. There's one on the rock, and then there's one down there underneath the black molly. I don't know if you can see that, guys, over on the right-hand side. And then there's two other ones in there somewhere. But anyway, I get sidetracked when I see stuff like that. But there's babies in there, and those guys breed pretty much nonstop. So moving on to the next tank in the office. Brings us over here to this 40-gallon breeder. Not any breeding going on in this tank right now, but these convicts, there's the male down there, he's ancient. He's pushing, I think, 9 years old now, and I've had him for a long time, since he was just a tiny fry. And I've also had, and this is his mate right here, she's the same age. This is one of their babies that was, when it was born, when it hatched and became free swimming, I seen there was something wrong with it, and it's deformed. I know some people pay good money for those kind of fish, and I just felt sorry for it, so I kept this one and raised it up. I didn't want to dispose of it. I've never culled, aka killed, fish ever. But this is one that I just held on to. I want to let it live its life in this tank until it passes away. But it's only a couple years old, and these guys are almost they're like 9 years old, like I said. I also have a firemouth in here that's maybe 3 years old. I also have a pair of albino bristlenose plecos in here that are just beautiful, absolutely gorgeous fish. So not a whole lot going on in this tank. I like the firemouth there. I wish I could find a male for her. She's never had a chance. She's never even seen a potential partner in this tank, except maybe that male convict, and I don't want to do any of that interbreeding stuff like that. So I don't know, I might find her a male and just give her a chance to breed in another tank, but that might make for a good future project. So moving on. Brings us over here to this 40-gallon grow out tank. Lots of convicts. That big convict in the middle is the father to all these other convicts. I also have some Vieja Argentine right here. There's the big male right here. They've been growing these. I have to get them a new. I have to get them moved pretty soon. They're growing out of this tank. I mean, they got room in here. There's not a whole lot of injury. No injuries going on. Not a lot of fighting. I think it's because it's overstocked at the moment. But I'm going to be clearing a lot of these convicts out. I'm going to get these guys into a better situation. And again, with the colored gravel here, this is stuff that I had for way back before I really got really into the hobby. But it serves its purpose. I don't mind it. But I like the natural look better, and I'm going to eventually get everything switched out into something a little more contemporary. So that's for this tank here. It's a fun tank to watch. And I also have the Chinese algae eater. Does a fantastic job keeping the algae in check in this tank. And I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. I wish I could find one that would do the outside. Those watermarks, every time I do any work on this tank, of course you get water on the outside of the tank, and I always forget to bring a towel in, but I'll get that cleaned up. Anyhow, moving on to the next tank, guys. And here we are at the next tank. This is the Black Molly Grow Out. So this is the only group of mollies that I've grown out. I've got like 30 in there, I think. There's a bunch in the Java moss down there. I also have a few of the red zebra ambuna fry that are growing out in here. I don't have any in view right now, but I have 5 orange poso, I believe it's pronounced P-O-S-O, poso rabbit snails. Sulawesi orange poso rabbit snails. 5 of them, and then there's a bunch of ram's horn snails, and I think they're all pretty much in and under this Java moss. Use carob sea aragonite for the substrate. Everybody's happy, active in this tank. And yeah, so that's it for this one. We're going to move on to the next tank now. Okay, and here we are at the tank right next to the other 10. This tank is a little bit of a mess on the glass. I have my Neolamprologus multifasciatus breeding group in here, and they have little fries in there, and I don't want to make them nervous. So pretty much this tank, I got a couple mystery snails in here too that they're doing just a terrible job on the algae in this tank. I may need to get a small Chinese algae eater and add it to this tank to, help keep that cleaned up. Because I don't like to poke around in there when they have little babies, because I don't want to make them nervous. Got this, these over on this side. I also have, there's one of the mystery snails, 2 of them actually. There's the black one and then a gold one. I also have a black molly in this tank as a dither, and it's probably just as aggressive as these cichlids are, because that fish will come down over here by this sponge filter, and he's got a little area there where he'll actually lock jaws. I've never seen a molly lock jaws with a cichlid before, but I had another video in the past that if you guys want to go back and check it out, they never quite did it, but you could see what I was talking about, where that molly would stand its ground, and these other fish were just very cautious around it. So speaking of which, I'm going to go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if it's available, and a thumbs up. That way you can go back and check all those videos out, and then you'll be all set for all the new ones coming out as well. Oh, there's the big, my big mystery snail down here. That one right there is almost 2 years old, and I was told they only live for a year, but I got living proof right there that it's longer than a year. So that's it for the tanks upstairs. Next thing we'll do is we'll head on down and check out the tanks downstairs. So I'll see you in a minute, guys. Alrighty, so here we are at the first tank, 75-gallon Mbuna tank, and I also have some Malawi eye biters in here. Breeding tank, get several spawns from the red zebras, and recently I've gotten some activity. Got that male, the blue male down here. He's looking really good, and they're getting very close to spawning. So I seen him down there doing some of the courtship dance with one of the females here, so that's only a matter of time for that. Got a convict in there that I use to cycle this tank, and they're getting along fine. I'm just going to leave them in there until I find another spot for them, or I might just leave them in there permanently, who knows. Going to the next tank. And here we are at the next tank. Here's Korg. Of course, I think it's a female, so I don't know. My wife named this fish Korg after the character in the Ragnarok movie, the Thor Ragnarok. I don't see the resemblance, but hey, she named him, or her, him or her. Got a pair of breeding convicts in this tank, and of course there's one of the generations of fry. I got another cloud of new fry in here somewhere. They might have them hidden right now. But this tank is doing pretty well. Nobody's getting beat up. Everybody eats real well. I have a large Chinese algae eater in here, probably maybe 5 inches long, and it likes to hide. It comes out though. What's interesting about these breeding pair of convicts here is they have a split leucistic gene, so that when they have their spawns, of course they never last very long, because I think the leucistic convicts, they come out, which is also better known as the pink convict, they show up a lot better in the early twilight hours, and then I'm not sure if the red devil eats them or if they eat them themselves. But they put out about 30% of the pink convicts every time they have a spawn, which I think is kind of interesting. You get both varieties. That female is just beautiful. She's got that beautiful orange coloration on her stomach. The dorsal fin has the real nice variegation on it. The male's pretty nice as well. These are siblings. These are some of the first generation of the larger convict that we've seen upstairs, the tank with the blue gravel. He's the father to all these. So that's it for this tank. Moving on to the next. All right, brings us over to another African tank, of course another convict. These are my dragon blood Peacock breeding group. Got a female holding right there. The other ones aren't. I have, oh, she spit. I got one up here and there's all the fry. So I'll move her back to her tank, back into the tank so she can get something to eat. Oh yeah, she did pretty good. Looks like about 20. Very nice. Here's my golden algae eater. This tank was covered with algae. I moved this one from the red zebra tank because it was getting beat up a little bit over there, and moved it into this tank, and it's getting along great, and it cleaned all the algae in this tank. It's just beautiful in here. I've never once taken an algae scrubber to these tanks. Every once in a while I'll take a credit card, and if it's really bad I'll clear the front glass off, but these guys right here are the best at cleaning the algae. They're so much better than the bristlenose plecostomus when it comes to cleaning algae. I like the bristlenose plecostomus, and I'm of course breeding a whole ton of them upstairs, as you've seen earlier. But when it comes to doing the actual job, these guys went out. So yeah, got this box over here getting ready. I'm gonna leave, where's she at? Right there. I let her hold for about 4 or 5 days before I put them into the boxes. I sometimes let them go for a couple weeks, and just to make sure that they're gonna follow through, because every once in a while I've had a couple of them that they'd hold them for maybe a week and then they'd end up eating the eggs, or very seldom, very rare, but it does happen. So I just give them a little time, and it seems to pay off because got all these over here. So speaking of which, I'm going to go ahead and bring us on over here. I'm not going to transition on this one. I'm just going to walk it over. There we are. Here's some from a previous spawn. And I also have some red zebra fry in here from one of the spawns from the other tank that I showed you just a moment ago. 75-gallon grow out. Everybody's doing great in here. Kind of anxious to see how many males I get from the dragon bloods. So moving on to the next tank. Be right back. All right, here is the first generation of red zebra mbunas that I had spawned. You can see all the algae on the glass in this tank. I need to get, I'm going to get some algae eaters for this tank as well to kind of balance it all out. And right here is my sunfish that I've had for a little over 3 years now. I've had this sunfish since it was a tiny fry. I have a friend who owns a pond, has some property in a pond that he stocks it and the fish breed, and I can get all the free ones I want. And I had gotten a couple of them, and this one turned out to be grew a little faster than the other one and became a little more aggressive, and the other one didn't make it. But this one is just absolutely fantastic. Eats flake food, eats pellets. Every once in a while when it rains I'll throw on maybe a worm once in a while. I don't like to feed too many live foods because I'm worried about parasites. But beautiful fish, just beautiful. 55-gallon tank here. I'm going to be selling these red zebras here. I have somebody interested in them, and we're going to see how that goes. Part of my breeding for profit. The beginning parts of it, and I'm going to be shipping fish at some point. I bought some shipping bags and been watching some tutorials. I've never shipped fish yet, but I will do that probably sometime in the spring of 2022. So stay tuned for that, and we will see how that goes. So we're going to go on to the new rack now. Be right back. Okay, here we are at the new rack. Down at the bottom I have a 29-gallon tank. To the left of it I have a 20-gallon high. Been taking good advantage of the Petco 50% off sale. It used to be $1 per gallon, but they changed it to 50% off. It's still a pretty good deal. Got the tops. I painted this tank. I haven't painted the 20 yet. I got to do that yet. Got the second shelf here. I've got 4 of the 10 gallons from the Petco sale. I got those mostly painted. I may do the sides as well. I got one side on this one done, on all of them. So I have like one side on each to do yet. Up there I have another 10-gallon tank. I have one more 10-gallon tank upstairs that I didn't bring down yet. It's just like this one, just a brand new tank that hasn't been brought down yet to put on here. I'm not sure if I'm not good on ladders really, guys. I'm not sure if I'm going to do this top layer or not. I might just build another stand like with my cinder blocks and do a big long, and do them long ways, so I could just stack them up, like maybe have like 10 in a row or something, like 100, and it'd be like 105 inches. I just have to get it set up with 2x4s and just put like like 3, like I do here, 3 sets of brick cinder blocks to support it in each end and then in the middle, and then just have the tanks running lengthwise like this one right here, the 20 gallon. Just be like one there, one there. Kind of consolidate the room a little bit. I'm also going to put in a central air system in here where I can have one big pump running the sponges in all these tanks. I have a lot of power filters running in here, guys. I got power filter over there. I got one on each of these tanks. I do have some sponges going here. But I have on these tanks over here, I have 2 Penguin 350s on both of these tanks. And I think the one here with the Mbunas, I'm going to keep it that way because that's the most densely populated tank, I think. This one here, I've got a few fish in here, but it's the Red Devil. I don't think it really warrants having 2 of these. I might do like I have on the other tanks over here, have one of them going and then have the sponge, but I may just go all sponges. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know what you would do. If you're going to keep these power filters running, or would you go all sponges, or would you do like a hybrid like I have over here, have one going on one side and then have a sponge on the other. See the algae eater's taking a little break there on that one. I like having the sponges for the beneficial bacteria. Of course, I got these intake sponges. I get plenty of beneficial bacteria from those too, so hard to say. Lots of options open. So I have one last tank to show you that's not set up, and then we're gonna call it a day. In fact, this side of the basement is so dark it's probably hard to see. I have a brand new 40-gallon tank that I've had down here for a couple months now with all the equipment I need to get it set up. I need to build a stand for it as well. I was going to put it on the rack over there, but I can't fit another tank on there except maybe a 10, and I'd rather have the 29 and the 20 over there. I could also put the other 10-gallon. I could put one of the 10 gallons down there, but I got this 40-gallon tank here, and I'm going to do something special with it. I'm not going to mention it right now, but it's going to be a pretty interesting tank, so be sure to stay tuned for that. That's coming up very, very shortly. Got a bunch of my equipment and stuff up here. Got these for my pleco caves. Got the, yeah, there we are. Well, it's kind of dark. I'm using 3 of them right now, but I got one left for another pleco breeding pair. I'm kind of concentrating on the plecos right now. I've got the super reds, I got the L144 short fins. I have some of the calicos growing out from my calico male that the super red male killed. So once they get bigger, I'll have a breeding set of them. So, well, anyway, guys, well, thank you very much for stopping into the visit me in the fish room here, and we will see you on the next video. I really appreciate you stopping by. Thank you very much. Have a great day now. Bye-bye.